What has his issues been with the halter?
With the halter, when I come out to halter, especially if we haven't done anything for a few days, he wants to be the boss. He wants to take off and go. I mean, I have to move him around, and then he comes to his favorite spot here on this mound where he's a little taller, and then he will stop and face me. And sometimes I can walk up and do the halter. Sometimes he'll have to leave again. Just kind of depends on his mood, but it plays out on the trail too because he likes to take over and tell me where we're going to go, whether that's coming home or just a whole different direction from what I want to do. So he just, and then his other way that he does that, I think, in here is he'll back himself up against the fence. If I'm trying to do something he's not comfortable with.
Okay. So that's like his comfort zone. He likes to feel a little bit secure by having his butt up there, and that goes back to the farrier issue.
Yeah, when we try to go
Okay.
pick up his front feet, especially when the farrier is here, sometimes we just to get it done, we've had to back into the fence
Gotcha.
and he'll stop and tolerate it, but he's not with us.
Right, right. So right here, this little mound is his little comfort spot in the corral out here, and this is kind of where he wants to go all the time, which is why we're going to go ahead and do the work right here with the halter. Um, we'll expand it and have him be able to do it out there as well. So what we're having to do is, just as Stacie goes to put the halter on, this is a lot better. What he was doing before, he was raising his head, trying to, and his mind was saying, I want to get out of the halter. I want to get out of this thing. So what we're going to try to do is change the way he's thinking about the halter. And I'm sure what's a big problem too with a lot of folks is when they go to take the halter off, you've done something with your horse, you've ridden them or whatever, you go to take the halter off, and they want to immediately blast off and go be with the other horses, go whatever their comfort spot is, whether it's to go to their dinner or whatever. So what we're trying to do is getting him to understand that even when she starts to drop that halter off, for one, not to think about leaving and getting away from it. So we're reassuring him that right now that when the halter goes on, it's going to come off again. But at the same time, we're building in a respect for Stacie that she's in control of when she puts the halter on and off. And so that hopefully this will transition into all the things that we were just talking about. That she stays, that Chester stays here with Stacie, not trying to in his mind. Yeah, exactly, and get him to always stay connected. That was really good. When he would lift his head, what do you think was going on in his mind?
I feel like he was like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be with you, really.
Yeah, and you had said something before that
Well, like
he was
he's
never
trying to
wanting to
run
be
away.
there the whole
Yeah.
time.
Well, so if that happens at the end of a ride, where we've been out struggling anyway, he wants to go home. I'm saying no, we're going this way, or I want to go up this direction, and he says I want to go that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole time, if I come back and I take the bridle off or the halter off, and he's like whipping his head up and leaving, I realize that he's been wanting to do that the whole time. He was doing that the whole time.
Right. So he was not wanting to. He was already thinking about home,
Yeah.
and not thinking about being there with you,
Right.
even on your ride. So
Not ever totally with him.
exactly. So this little bit of things that look really mundane and really tiny are huge things to the horse, and they're huge to preventing things from happening. You know, that could be bad accidents and whatnot. So
Yeah, it's not fun riding like that.
no, it's the worst.
It's dangerous.
And it doesn't make riding any fun, you know. And it would be the same thing if you were out riding and your horse is out looking around, you know, and he's constantly worried about everything that's going on. Oh, I hear a truck, I got to look at that. I got to be nervous about that. It's okay for them to know their surroundings. But what we want to get is to get them to to know that we're watching out for them, that they don't have to do that always being on guard thing. Okay, so we moved to a different spot and we're going to now do the same thing with him. So the biggest thing, when we take the halter off, we're going to see how he acts. We're going to see if he raises his head, and this is what we want to do. We want him to think about just let that thing come off. Now a lot of times it's when you're going up over the top of their head there that they kind of go against you. So that
wasn't too bad.
So let's just go ahead and try that again. We'll put it on and we'll see how he takes it again. So you still see how he's trying to avoid.
Yeah.
There you go. Now he's taking that really nice.
There was a big noise over there. So
Yeah.
right when I was putting it on, he jerked up. But
That was good though.
because
I
of
mean, that was way better.
Yeah. He's also taken a few steps back. I noticed that.
So what we'll do is we just want to stay with him. So when what I would probably do is probably like untie it, and then we don't want to build this thing in where they're trying to pull away from when we're untying something. So I would probably untie it, and then just keep the nose band on there, but just go ahead and take that and drop it off. Now come back and get just like you would do when you put it on, and then see if he can start to drop his nose. Wait, don't take it off yet. Right there, his nose going down, take it off. That's okay, that was pretty good. They kind of caught on his nose right there, and that's what made him kind of jump up a little bit, but that's okay. That was way better. You start to see his head drop. See his head drop a little bit right into the halter now, which is really good.
That was very nice. Good boy.
And he doesn't seem to have a problem with you putting your arm over his neck, and he's not flipping out about that. But little things like that can tell you that, especially when you're up here and you've got pressure up here on the halter at the pole, it's going to be the same pressure we have on a bit. So if that bothers them even the least little bit up there, then that's going to bother them when you're riding. It's going to be an issue, or it could be an issue, a potential problem. So let's see if we can ask him to just go ahead and see. Don't take it down. Let's see if we can get him to drop his head down. So just kind of start down and stop. And with your hands. There you go. Right there. And just see if he can kind of just take a big breath, let everything out. Relax. So he's looking now. I see how he moved a little bit there. He's kind of looking for the answer. And it's not like we're really trying to teach him anything, what to do. We're just trying to get him to understand just to relax. So he's taking a step back, so just gently go back with him. Take a big breath yourself again. Kind of get your legs back underneath you and stay nice and comfortable. There you go. Good.
Dropped his head a little.
He did a little bit,
Just
yep.
a little bit.
Yep, so you can start to move it down. Okay, take a big breath. Just go ahead and we'll start with that and go ahead. Yep, go ahead and slide it down. And go ahead and put it right back on again. Not that he did bad on that at all.
No big colas
Oops. So there's now that.
I think I surprised him. He didn't
Well, and that's the
expect
thing.
it there.
You kind of jumped at it, yep. And let's see if so. And we don't want to try to. And this is so common. It's like this happens all the time. We try to catch the horses. We're always trying to catch them, and no matter how they move. So just go ahead and take it off again. So right now you can see where his mind is he's leaving. He says, I'm gonna leave. So what you're just gonna do is put a slight pressure. I'll just pick this up and move that. And keep moving him a little bit. There you go. And then back up. So when he turns to face you like that, there you go. Perfect. And you're just kind of saying, I didn't ask you to go yet. You know, it's like we still have some work to do. So, but this is not hurting you. This is an easy deal.
That wasn't bad.
Nice. He dropped it right down, huh?
Good job. He's taking a little step back.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
You didn't.
Nice.
Like mentally, you didn't.
No, he did really well there. And one of the other issues that we're going to work on is he's got a problem with
Syringe in his mouth
the syringe in his mouth.
for putting medicine.
So he's always trying to get away from things. So we're basically teaching him that it's okay, that he doesn't have to get away from things. He can. We're not going to hurt him. We're going to be okay. Always just stay right here. There we go. So we're building a lot of trust right now. This is really good. And in his mind, what do you think he's thinking?
I think he's starting to say, "Oh, this isn't so bad. I like being with you. I feel part of him is like deciding.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks it's okay to be here, or if it's better to go over there with his
Gotcha.
And it's better he's not popping up.
So eventually we'll just continue working with this and get more matter of fact about it, and where he just kind of comes up there and we'll put his head, right up in the halter.
Yeah,
See,
and
right
I can
there,
see
right
how
there.
that will transfer.
So did you see how he moved? Did you see how he moved towards you?
Yeah, very slight. But
As
yeah.
soon as he did that, back off.
Yeah.
And go, that's exactly what I want you to do. So you're basically saying, come here, I'd like you to put your nose in here. Right there, stop. Perfect. See, and he can't figure out why you just went away. Why didn't you put away? Yeah, why didn't you catch me? And this is so common that we just have a tendency, people just want to catch their horse
We
all
always
the
have
time.
an agenda. We've got this much time. We want to go for a ride.
Exactly. Work with your horse where it is right now. We expect them, we want them to be in the moment. We have to be in the moment. And they know, and there's another one that Ray Hunt said, the horse knows when you know, and it knows when you don't. So
And that's so clear.
yeah,
So obvious.
They know when you've had a bad day. They know when you're there going, okay, I got a million things to think about coming up this weekend, and they know that.
But I've got these 2 hours, and I'm going to damn well ride.
Yeah. What's going on, Stacie?
We're just playing with him bringing his attention to me because he wants to, because he's not forced to. And Cola, who usually would be standing in the corner, saying, "Don't look at me, I'm not the one today," wants to be right in the middle of it. So he's feeling that there's something. He likes the vibe.
Yeah, this is the first I've seen him ever do that.
And he's
To where
and chewing and he's smiling.
Yeah, we're doing things that are making Chester really understand what's happening.
So he just
And
reached for this.
yeah,
So
he reached. He's doing everything. He's doing everything right, and because we are looking more at ourselves and stepping back and going and listening to them rather than talking to them and saying we're going to put this halter on you, and like Stacie and I were just saying, we as horse people we get an agenda, and we think that we have so much time to get things done, and we're not really in the moment thinking about what we're doing with our horses a lot of
we're gonna have a
times.
little grooming session now.
That's fine.
Is that where he likes to be scratched?
The fact that Cola came up here just blows my mind.
And I guess one thing you haven't mentioned is that they're both Mustangs. They both were born wild.
Gotcha.
They were rounded up when they were about 2. I've had them for 14 years, but you can go back to that wild mind pretty easily.
Right.
When they don't get a lot of time and a lot of this kind of stuff. their instinct is real strong.
Well, I want to say one thing too. Stacie, these 3 horses, Stacie has these 3 horses. I'm going to pan over here. And we've got Jazz over here. And then we've got Chester. And then we've got Cola back there. So these horses are all Mustangs. Stacie has done, from what I've seen, and has done the most amazing job with these 3 horses. That they've the trust and the things that they've done, that she's done with these guys for basically pretty much all their training. She's the one that's put it on them, and we're just kind of tuning things up to make them a little bit better. But the foundation that Stacie put on these horses is amazing. And
definitely from watching lots of videos and books and not, I mean, lots of hours.
Right. And it takes time, you know. And the cool thing is that we want to enjoy them. We want to have fun with them. We want to.
I want to feel like they're as happy to be with me as I want to be with them.
Right.
If I feel like I'm forcing them to do something, I feel bad, and I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I don't know what to do.
Gotcha.
That I'm somehow hurting them.
Right. Well,
If that makes sense.
you're not doing that at all. These guys are extremely well cared for.
But when I, like we're gonna go for a ride and it's 2 o'clock and I've got till 4, so we gotta get a saddle on and get out there, and which I have done for sure. And sometimes you just have to, like we talked about, you have to be where they are.
Exactly. That's the whole idea, is to be in the moment, every moment that we're with our horses.
He's now seeking this out.
Yeah,
He's taking steps towards me.
We're looking at a horse that the other day, as soon as you walked up, would want to try to leave. So this is really nice. So there's a little bit of a change there. That's okay. So probably what I would do, when he does that, okay, let's do that, set that one up again, and then take that off just like how you were taking it off. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of hold when he does that. Now, I'm not saying that this is how we're going to take the halter off, but how did you have it? You had it like that, but you were still holding it.
Yeah, I didn't drop
So
it. Right.
what?
No,
Let's.
I think I went here.
No, you had it over the top. You had still had that over. So do that one again, because that's another issue. So, and this is something that's really common. I guarantee you guys seen that. But then you take that and then just put just like where you had it, and you had it just about like that, nice and soft. But you had your hand kind of right there, right? And then you can drop that down, right? Drop that nose band off.
Okay.
Because that's where you were at when he started to pull away.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna wait. There, now you can drop it and take it off.
He pulled up, but he didn't put a lot of pressure, and then he dropped his head a lot more.
So it's really important that we finish through, that we're looking at what has happened in it. When he pulled away that first time, it was because his mind said, I kind of had a little glitch that thought it was better to pull his head away from you. And maybe it was because it was a little bit different that time than it has been. You weren't just throwing the top off the pole. So this is good that he has to understand that it's not done yet. Same deal. Keep holding. Just relax. Yep. Keep holding. Stay with. You can just walk with him. Now, when he comes back to you, he's got to get his attention to you. Okay. And as soon as he does, you're going to take your hand off.
I feel like he just did.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I'm just amazed. Now we got all 3 horses standing here. I love this.
I know.
So this just tells me that there's no conflicts going on here right now. There's no force. There's nothing going on. And I know it's not very. There's not a lot going on. We're just working with a halter, but
There's a lot going on here.
There's exactly, and we see these three guys standing here. Why are they standing here? Normally, when we would work, we would put a halter on. Maybe we'd start doing something, and they would be all the way in the shelter. They'd be somewhere else, looking to how can we get away
Hiding
from
under the
this.
tree in
I
the
hope
shade.
I'm not next, kind of thing. And now we got three horses standing here going, well, I kind of want you to play with me, you know, because this is absolutely the most engaged I've seen Chester. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome.
That's great.
But I like Stacie said, I think it's the vibe. You know, there's just such a good vibe right now that this is where they want to be.
Yeah.
They could be anywhere. They could be over in the shade. They could be picking at some extra hay on the ground. They could be doing anything, but they're choosing to be right here. So the idea is that it shouldn't be as hard to work with the syringe. We've got the halter on. Yeah, we could hold him. We could, you know, get in there and hold his head and get that syringe
Not
stuck
really.
in his mouth.
I mean, you can, but it's not
Pretty, is it?
that pretty. And no, he can throw his head up and get somebody hurt, himself or
Exactly.
me.
So we're gonna fix that. Do you mind if I take him?
Yeah.
I'll take the syringe if you got it. So everything we're doing, like I can feel right here, he's tight. He's not, there you go. He just kind of got tight there and was pulling it, you know, as I was asking him just to kind of come this way, he kind of pulled a little bit. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna hold this thing tight.
Right.
I'm not gonna have it to where he can just fly off and run off. Now we'll be able to do that, and I don't mind doing that stuff at Liberty. I think that's great.
Nope.
So we got the same thing going on here. I'm gonna come up here and
That's
see how
pretty
he's
good.
moving away.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of stay
You
with
would
him
usually be moving away a lot.
about the same. I'm not gonna hold him, but I'm gonna kind of be about the same relationship to him. Until he makes a change, and he's starting to change. I want him to start looking at me. So you can tell his mind is
Considering.
There we go. You can tell his mind is wondering if this is going to be okay. I'm going to pull him back over into the camera.
Oh, is he out?
So in the beginning, let's say the very first time, even if he stops, I might take it away. Okay. So
Yeah, no, that's better than usually. It's worse. So either, for whatever reason, we usually be able to have that lead rope as tight as it can be and be
Right.
out of here.
So I'm going to put that up there. So he stopped moving his head, so I don't have to. I'm going to give that to him. I'm going to let him know what is it that I want. What am I asking from him? I'm saying I want to take this and I want to touch you on the side of the face with it. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. If I get it, let's say the first time, maybe I just want to put this up there and you don't move. So there's the change there. There we go. Okay, so we'll do it again. He's kind of leaning back and he's going back. I tried to get it out of there before he does that. So he's going away. His mind is going over that way. You can see his mind moving away from it. And all I want him to do is put your mind back this way. Get back in the moment, because he's thinking about, I don't want that in my mouth. That's the future. That's something that he thinks is going to happen. So as he and I'm just going to wait for his mind to come back this way. If I notice it is starting to drift back, I'll drift away a little bit. And what he doesn't understand is that when he turns his head and kind of comes back to me, this will not bump into him.
Right.
So he's perceiving this as pressure, and he's trying to go away from it, something that he doesn't really want. He's doing this in a real subtle way to where he's not running away from it, but he's still avoiding it. And that's what I want him to start to do, is come towards it instead of going away from it. So now that was a change there. I didn't have to
Yeah,
use the lead
that
rope
was
at all.
really nice. He's not tight and stiff.
Don't avoid. That would be our first thing that we'd want to accomplish is don't avoid it. So see, I'm going to match his steps. When he takes a step, I'll step. But I'm going to keep the same relationship if I can. If I go too much and we get to where we're over the threshold, then it's almost impossible to keep the step with him and keep
Right.
it on him.
Well, then, yeah, then it gets really dramatic.
Exactly. And then it becomes a problem, and it becomes a warranted problem in their eyes.
Right. Yeah, it kind of solidifies that. See, I knew it was bad.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. So he gets some relief by going toward it. He wants to
I want him to free his legs up, free up himself, and not feel like he's getting away.
There he is.
This is actually looks like a minor little problem,
No,
but it's not.
no, it's in everything.
Yeah, it's in everything, like you said, and the way that he was wanting to go against the halter, like he'd want to rear up if you pulled too hard on him, right? So he doesn't know how to respect and come off the halter yet, completely. So I'm gonna let him pull a little tight there, and let him there, he came off it himself. So this is kind of big, actually.
It is big deal.
There's two things that's big. One is that he's not trusting this, that we're not going to hurt him.
Yeah.
The other big thing is that he starts pulling back and has that tendency to rear.
Yeah.
And those are two really bad habits. So the only way we can get him over it is, well, we have to work on both of them, but if we can get rid of, because something else might cause the rearing.
Yeah, like
That's like
I
something
was
else.
telling you when I lifted, I'd been riding him and I took the saddle off his back and I still had the bridle on, and I lifted the saddle so he was, like at the end of the rope like you have him, and then I lifted the saddle with my one hand still holding, and he just started backing and pulling his head up. He didn't rear up, but I dropped the saddle, which also made him jump, and then we were both going backward, and
If you had had him tied, he would have flipped over backwards.
yeah,
He
or
probably-
broken,
he
or
would've broke
he
that
would've
thing
broken
and- yeah.
the reins or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. So we're just going to start off by
By the way, I would never tie him with the reins, so.
I know you would. There we go. Good. That's better. wait for him to stop moving. So now we're going to go back. Good. Let him think about that stuff, but nothing's hurting him. You can even kind of work like see how I've got this thing in my hand, and I come up here and I'm not even
Right. And
I'm not putting it into his face, you know. We're just gonna let him take that, because this thing has always been a scary thing for him.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go with him easy until he stops his feet. I didn't realize, there you go, that this was this bad. Because I could see him if he was tied up and if you weren't here and somebody tied him up, tried to do something,
Right.
he would flip over.
Well,